Presumptuousness. Presumptuousness is a characteristic of your heart that can be a serious threat to everyone. The presumptuous person boldly takes liberties without having the authorization to do so. It often leads to disaster. It has even ensnared some of Jehovah's servants and led them to their ruin when they questioned his decisions. Let's take a look at a biblical example of someone who displayed this quality and see the danger of overstepping due bounds. If we take a look at 1 Kings chapter 1, we'll see who that is. Again, that's 1 Kings chapter 1, and let's look at verses 5 and 6. It says, "Meanwhile, Adonijah, the son of Haggith, was exalting himself, saying, 'I am going to be king.' He had a chariot made for himself, with horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. But his father had never confronted him by saying, 'Why have you done this?'" So we see that Adonijah is already assuming that he is going to be king. And he went so far as, conspiring to gain the kingship, put 50 runners before his chariot to add prestige and dignity to his scheme. So in an official sense, runners were selected to run before the king's chariot. So they served like a king's personal force, or like we would think of it, a modern-day bodyguard. So that's 50 bodyguards. So Adonijah was trying to get the attention of the people and make it seem like he was going to be king. But why was this so wrong? Let's take a look at 1 Chronicles 22. Again, that's 1 Chronicles chapter 22, and let's look at verses 9 and 10. It says, "Look, you will have a son who will be a man of peace, and I will give him rest from all his enemies who surround him. For Solomon will be his name, and I will grant Israel peace and quiet in his days. He is the one who will build a house for my name. He will become my son, and I will be his father. I will firmly establish the throne of his kingship over Israel forever." So don't we see that Adonijah is already going against Jehovah's decisions? Even though Solomon was supposed to be put to the throne, Adonijah bragged that he was Israel's next king. So Nathan the prophet had to intervene with what was happening. He reminded Solomon's mother, Bathsheba, of David's promise for Solomon to be king, and then he later alerted David of the situation. So David immediately anointed Solomon to the throne. Adonijah's supporters then fell away, and he was pardoned by Solomon. But after David died, Adonijah still had one final attempt at trying to gain the throne. Let's look at 1 Kings chapter 2. Again, that's 1 Kings chapter 2. And let's look at verses 15 through 17 with a conversation between Adonijah and Bathsheba. It says, he continued, "You all know that the kingship was to become mine, and all Israel expected me to become king. But the kingship eluded me and became my brother's, for it was from Jehovah that it became his. But now there is just one request that I am making of you. Do not turn me away." So she said to him, "Speak." He then said, "Please, ask Solomon the king, for he will not turn you away, to give me Abishag the Shunammite as a wife." So again we see that Adonijah is going against Jehovah's decisions. He even admits that Solomon being king came from Jehovah. Then he asks Bathsheba for Abishag as his wife. But the law stated that a king's wife or concubine could only become that of his legal successor, which in this case would be Solomon, not Adonijah. So Solomon viewed this request badly and ordered Benaiah to kill Adonijah. So what do we learn from Adonijah's bad example? We need to combat the pride that makes it difficult for us to respect authority. Imperfection is a part of our life, and so to this day, we have an inborn tendency to rebel. So may we not be like Adonijah, who had a stubborn and prideful attitude, but strive to have a humble attitude and not question Jehovah's decisions within the organization.